Introducing Digimotors, a new car rental service aimed at providing a satisfactory rental experience for its customers. Good day. My name is Mitra Sakramsi. Presenting alongside me are Tristan Maharaj, Justin Edwards, and Barry Miles. Digimotors is a subsidiary of the Digicel Group. Digicel, a long-established telecommunications company of over 20 years, has in recent years expanded its scope to music, sports, and movies. Digicel has now decided to shift the company's scope away from digital investments into a car rental company under the name of Digimotors. The car rental industry in Trinidad and Tobago is experiencing major growth as the pandemic appears to be headed towards an endemic phase. Digicel wants to capitalize on its growing market by providing a car rental service. Digicel would be able to diversify its business portfolio and increase its dominance in the local market. Additionally, if Digimotors is successful, Digicel would have the ability to use the framework of this venture and implement it into other regional markets, thus growing and profiting the parent company expeditiously. Business strategy. The business strategy entails operation, marketing, value creation, and finance. Each strategy is listed in order of expense size. Operations. Digimotors is an operation-dominant company, meaning that the company is focusing on how to do much more with existing resources in terms of throughput, response time, and quality. Providing a system view that will touch upon performance measures, operations management, quality, cost accounting, and pricing to ensure value creation and value enhancement. Digimotors car rental service comprises of the following assets: Toyota Aqua, Toyota Fielder Wagon, Honda Civic, Kia Sorento, and Toyota Nova. A further breakdown on asset requirements will be discussed within the financial framework of the company. Marketing. Digimotors' key marketing strategy would be to utilize social media marketing. Social media applications such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok are all major digital platforms that allow for free and/or paid marketing of services. Furthermore, email and SMS messages will be sent to customers that are a part of the Digicel Group customer database. These are customers that are users that already own a Digicel service such as Digicel Mobile, Internet, Home, or TV from the Digicel provider. Value creation. Value creation is giving something valuable to receive something else that's more valuable to you. In terms of Digimotors, value creation is aimed through providing customers with the following: a percentage of rental fees by existing Digicel customers, as well as daily, weekly, or monthly bill for rental services. The customer receives discounts as an incentive for owning other services offered by Digicel, such as internet, home, cable, and mobile. Fleet rental for manufacturing companies. Manufacturing companies receive a cheaper cost in fleet rental as they pay for the use of those vehicles for an agreed upon time period. The company therefore receives a better deal on an entire fleet of cars. Digimotors will be incorporated into the existing My Digicel app for ease of rental. The customer receives ease of access to their services in one centralized location, encouraging the user to engage more. In terms of what is received in return, Digicel and Digimotors receives profitability in exchange for providing customers with these services. Finance. Digimotors would obtain a US $5 million loan from a banking institution. This would allow for a full-fledged launch of Digimotors rather than a basic bootstrapping method that is typically seen with the startup of new businesses. This is the best way for the company to attain financing, as a subsidiary will remain under full ownership of the Digicel Group. Furthermore, the Digicel Group would have no issue procuring a bank loan due to the company's current status.
Part 3. Financial requirements. Financial requirements are known as the lifeline of most businesses. In order for a business to move forward, monetary backing is needed. This helps investors to know the current and fixed assets needed for daily operation. Throughout this presentation, the currency used will be the US dollar. The car rental company would feature 100 cars, of which 5 different makes and models will be available. There are cars ranging from the least expensive Toyota Aqua to the most expensive Kia Sorento. Between that range, there's the Toyota Fielder Wagon, Honda Civic, and Toyota Noah. The total cost to purchase these 100 vehicles will be $2,504,000. Next up, we have the costing to rent each car per day. Here we have the Honda Civic costing $65, Sorento $85, Aqua $50, Fielder Wagon $60, and Noah $70. Asset requirements. DG Motors will require a major asset investment of $2,504,000 for the starting inventory of 100 cars, which can be found in the table above. Another major asset investment of $1,430,000 will be needed for the building, land, and machinery. Other asset requirements include computer hardware/software, a website, and office furniture and fixtures. The total financing needed for these assets will be $3,961,000. This table shows the needs of operation by DG Motors for the first year. Please note that the operating needs and working capitals are thought of as one and the same. Here we have salaries and wages amounting to $170,000, and this is for 8 employees at a rate of $21,250 per employee per year. For maintenance and repairs, this would include the cost of cleaning the vehicles, tire changes, oil changes, new windscreen wipers, and more, amounting to the cost of $110,000. Gas. Our gas prices would have been much higher than $200,000 if the fleet was not mainly equipped with hybrid vehicles. Insurance. This $120,000 includes health insurance for employees, car insurance, and fire insurance for the building. Other operating needs would include utilities, office supplies expenses, advertising, interest expense, business license and permits, and depreciation. At the end of the first year, the depreciation expense for the cars and building would amount to $95,000. This gives a total for operating needs to be $800,000. Startup costs. The startup cost for the operating needs expense, as shown in the table above, is $800,000. Next up, we have advertising for opening, basic websites, brand development, land building and machinery, business cards/stationaries, business licenses/permits, computer hardware/softwares, office furniture/fixtures, insurance, security system installation, starting inventory, and the total for this is $4,997,000. Here we have a graph representing the profits to be earned over the next 10-year period. There's an expected profit of $100,000 for the first year of operation, with an expected increase of 15% per year. By the end of 10 years, it is estimated that DG Motors will be making $351,787.63.
Sources of financing. As highlighted in the financial requirements, for any venture to come to fruition, one must figure out the ways in which financing would be made available, by whom, and in what way. For this business venture, our team has been diligently working on assessing this critical step in the financial framework. We have been going through various possibilities to understand and figure out which one is truly beneficial to our venture. However, before we present our findings and decisions, we must briefly distinguish between debt and equity financing. Debt financing is simply obtaining finances for an opportunity or venture by essentially borrowing from various institutions, whereas equity financing, on the other hand, is the act of obtaining finances via investments from potential investors in the market. Now that this distinction is made, the question is, what is the team's decision? The main decision made by our team is to seek 100% debt financing for Digimotors. Note, we also have an alternative plan where we are willing to accept dual sourcing, which entails 70% debt and 30% equity financing. In terms of the 100% debt financing, our rationale for choosing this particular percentage and method was mainly due to the pivotal benefits it provides. For instance, debt financing allows our business to remain in complete control over our operations and methods. We are currently planning to access a loan from First Citizens Bank, also known as FCB, which is the only established Trinbagonian bank. Yes, this loan may come with specific parameters, but once we are able to pay it off, the company's relationship with the bank would cease to exist, thus allowing us to maintain autonomy throughout the business and not be subjected to external desires from investors. This is unlike equity financing, where we would be essentially relinquishing autonomy and ownership of the business, which may leave Digimotors in a precarious position in the future when it experiences major growth. Additionally, debt financing allows us to reduce our overall level of uncertainty, as it is generally predictable, and our team would have the ability to foresee the business's interest payments, thus allowing us to plan our finances better, which would aid us in utilizing the loan more effectively and help us to project more credible financial statements. In terms of structure, firstly, one must know that Digicel is a recognized conglomerate and the business has built up vital credibility and collateral over the years. And this, paired with our financial projections, gives us an ideal leverage point to attain loans. This being said, our team has agreed on attaining a term loan from FCB that would last approximately 25 years. We have agreed that it will have a fixed interest rate of 6% and a quarterly payment schedule throughout the lifespan of the loan. Additionally, this type of loan allows our team to attain a lump sum of cash upfront from the bank, which can quickly be allocated to respective sectors that were previously highlighted in the financial requirements section of this framework. For viewers to have a greater appreciation, our team has listed out basic calculations of the structure. For instance, quarterly is at every 3-month interval of the year. So for 4 payments every year, we will be doing this for 25 years. So this is essentially 100 payments during this lifespan of the loan. So the $5 million loan will be divided by 100 payments, which would equate to $50,000 at each interval and a grand total of $200,000 at the end of every year.
Financial strategy. Burn rate and time to run out of cash. The time to run out of cash or cash runway prospect will be longer. The burn rate calculated in the first year of operation was $41,667 per month over 12 months. This was calculated by subtracting the ending cash balance in the first year, $500,000, from the $1 million of cash at the beginning of the financial year, and then dividing the result by the number of months, which was 12. To find out the time to run out of cash, the ending cash balance of $500,000 was divided by the burn rate of $41,667 to give a time to run out of cash result of 12 months. This offers the company favorable bargaining power in determining the specifics of its financing deals. The time to close a deal will be longer. Digicel is a parent company with a long track record of over 20 years. Therefore, there are many financial options and opportunities that will be available to them for the formation of this new business. They can seek financing from an array of banks across the Caribbean region. If the business is to seek equity financing at some point in the future, many investors will be lined up to try to own a stake in the new subsidiary. This means that the firm will not be desperate to close on any particular deal, and it will therefore have more bargaining power in working out the financing details. Again, if equity financing is chosen in the future, when the business starts making increased profits, it will bolster its negotiating power. Perhaps an investor may only be able to own a 5% stake while investing a few $1 million. Future alternatives. Well, as mentioned before, because of the reputation and long-established nature of Digicel, it will have many financial options on the table for its subsidiary, and this increases bargaining power. When in need of future financing, instead of seeking external financing, the company will be able to tap into the retained earnings or profits of the parent company, Digicel, to help fund operations. Also, instead of finding a separate loan for the subsidiary, the parent company can lend funds it already has to the subsidiary and have any cash generations of that subsidiary sent back to the parent company for repayment. With a combination of lending from the parent company and external debt financing, the subsidiary reduces its need for equity financing, which increases the bargaining power of the equity financing front. Risk/reward. Very large parent companies like Answer Michael and Massey Stores already have car rental services under the Europe Car and Massey Motors initiatives, respectively. Due to competition from the already established and well-reputed companies like Answer Michael and Massey Stores, the risk to Digicel of starting this new venture is very high. The risk for lenders is also high. Banks may be less willing to give longer-term deals with a high principal in fears of the company defaulting and eventually failing. Potential equity financiers will be less willing to invest their money and would be asking for higher stakes in the company just in case, or in the case that the business does succeed. The bargaining power of the company will be lowered because of this. Personal concerns such as threats and uncertainties also affect bargaining power. Addressing threats. These include competition from other firms. The current situation with the pandemic, as we know, which continues to devastate economies, and the war in Ukraine, which is affecting supply chains, causing record-breaking levels of inflation and therefore reducing disposable income. All of these can potentially reduce consumer spending on car rentals. Addressing uncertainties, there are a few pertinent questions that would need to be asked. Will the business have a competent management team? Will the car rental market remain strong in light of the current and ongoing increased cost of living? Will this company be able to strategically differentiate itself from the competition successfully? Will the financial department ensure that payments are made on time and in full? These are all concerns that interested parties would have. This is the end of our presentation on Digicel's DG Motors car rental company. I, alongside the other 3 members of this group, thank you very much for listening to this presentation.